Hello everyone! Welcome back. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Welcome to the channel. Today is the finale for Mass Effect The Gathering Dark. And I'm gonna hand it over to our GM and let Pope tell you all the rest.
Hey everybody, Pope here, Pope Worldbuild on the internets, being your storyteller amongst storytellers. For this, our last chapter with these very interesting crew. They have one last mission. One from a selection
You
of
didn't say that. You did not say it that way, did you? You said it that way. I know what happens when it's phrased that way.
But yes, just a simple thing investigating a cybernetic cult. So let's go around, meet the players, and see how they're feeling after the Thresher Maw, how much soreness they're all in, the bruising. And I'm also always curious as to what horrors are in my players' minds when the phrase cybernetic cult is uttered. So please share with us things that would make you uneasy, or at least your character, should they run into things that have non-organic bits. Um, First up, let's go with the person who had the worst message with the stinger last time. Hey PB, how you doing? How is Etsley, and how's Etsley feeling? What is she not looking forward to?
I mean, physically feeling great. Nothing happened to Italy last time. Almost something happened, but nothing actually happened. Mentally struggling. Mentally not doing well. Mentally we'll see when we get there. Kind of vibes from Italy right now. And the whole biotech thing is kind of just like a non-issue to her at this very moment because her thoughts are such on other things that are happening in there, like whatever biotics or whatever. The people in there that are gonna do the actual psychological damage to Etsley, now that's what she's worried about. Also, hi, I'm PB. I'm playing Etsley Leon today. She, her pronouns.
Uh, Delightful. I can already just sometimes the character unraveling also affects the player. So speak, but one who is never unraveled, more occasionally on fire, driving large things, causing explosions, would be our favorite Krogan, played by Chris. How you doing, Chris? And how how are how is Bars doing?
Hi, yes, I'm Chris Caneas, aka the Painting Pirate, taking pronouns. Playing Bars, our Soldier Havoc Krogan. Bars is honestly doing great. That fight was fun for him. Bars barely scraped dropping below half health. He was totally fine. He got to ride around in power armor that used to be an Elcor, that used to be his mount briefly. And we killed a Thresher Maw, which he did not expect. He expected us all to be dead. So he's riding high. He's got a massive pile of Thresher Maw meat that is going to be used to feed Buttercup for a very, very, very long time.
I now see just how full the kitchen is on the damn ship.
Oh yeah. The freezer is just full of Thresher Maw meat, which probably nobody other than Buttercup should eat. He's a little concerned about what we're going into, given that fighting cybernetic stuff is rude because when you hit fleshy things, they tend not to get back up. Cybernetic stuff sometimes doesn't play by that rule, so it's really annoying because you have to knock it down repeatedly. It's fun to make sure it's fully smashed, but it can take a while, and Bars isn't very patient.
Yeah, Bars not a fan of having to abide by Rule 3, double tap. But someone who has an entirely different set of rules, or maybe says what are them rules, would be Tazik, played by Mandy. How are you doing, Mandy? And how's Tazik doing?
I like your transition there because my first response was, I have rules? But hi everyone, I'm Mandy. I go by Lady Luck 34 on the internet. I'm playing Tazik, who is our Solarian engineer. Pronouns for both of us are she, her. And doing good. Did survive the Thresher Maw fight. Was a little iffy a couple times. Though if I was gonna go out, it would have had like getting eaten by a giant sandworm monster feels appropriate.
Yeah, the thing's stomach acid, if you had been swallowed, does 30d6.
Yeah, see, I just would have been insta-dead as soon as I got swallowed. And then, of course, having Carl get the last hit was really on brand for this crew. After
Carl has developed new emotions, like anxiety.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We haven't really addressed. Carl's gonna have to go to therapy after all of this. Yeah.
That's not a new development. That's always been the case.
This is true. But I think at this point, Tazik's like, I almost got eaten. my drone took out a thresher maw. I now have like some scales from it or something that I can use in armor. We lived, yay us, and we're also going to be quietly plotting Crin's murder before he writes his romance novel. And is like, cool, what's next?
Well, Bryn is currently on a train trying to get home. So we will check in with Jesus when he does make it. Someone who makes others better and is not a family therapist would be Dr. Abdul Rasul, played by Prax. How you doing, Prax, and how's the doc?
So the doc is good. She has good drugs and she's very good at her job, so a little soreness but not dead. Very happy that she removed as many of the acid glands as possible to preserve for future experiments. Just in case it's necessary. Little things. Poisons are a very niche crowd that she's in. She has put she pulled out the label printer and put giant labels on for Buttercup only. Yes, that means you cannot touch this Tazik. Do not eat.
There's
really
also
just imagining-
biohazard stickers.
Oh,
that
all of
no
that. All of that
place-
is on all of it, but at the same time, she knows that it doesn't always work when it's just biohazard, so it's just the big words. Do not eat, Tazik.
Tazik is that one roommate that everybody's like, they're okay, but they have a tendency to wander into the fridge and eat whatever strikes their fancy.
See,
Is
here's
this do not eat comma Tazik or do not eat Tazik?
do not eat, comma, Tazik, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, underlined 3 times. Also, I firmly believe that Tazik would be the person who looked in the corporate fridge, saw the bag labeled "Dead Dove, Do Not Eat," and would have eaten it.
Tazik is only smart in very specific ways.
But to be fair, she's also technically a lizard, so probably wouldn't have a problem with the dead dove. The dead thresher maw might be a problem.
Muy caliente.
Yeah.
That is. I'm just thinking. Thrasher Maw is somewhere in the melange of ant, cricket, rattlesnake, frog sort of meal.
No, see, I think it falls further than that. I think it falls into radioactive contaminated platypus, right? Like, think about it.
Okay, now I'm just picturing a Darkwing Duck Perry the Platypus mashup. Speaking of getting dangerous, you guys have finished up on Tuchanka. There was a big party. It was strongly advised that those of you who do not have Krogan biology not imbibe too much. They actually had them, but it was more because their hands are very big and some of them do patch up their own clothes. So they got you Krogan thimbles full of alcohol.
The doc would have gone through and just like, there's little needle, like one of those test strips, and would have dunked it and been like, yes, this is okay for these species. And then looked at one, pulled it out, and goes, this is not okay for anybody other than me or bars, and then kept going.
That's the one where you dunk the test strip in and it doesn't come back out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really just imagining the Tazik is actually the lightest of lightweights and has like a sip.
Well, the thing is, it's weird when you're thinking about the Solarian physiology. because they have incredibly high metabolisms. So you would get immediately wasted, but you would recover just as fast.
So theoretically, like each sip is a roller coaster of getting very, very drunk for like 1 minute. Well, maybe we'll say 5 minutes of being drunk before then recovering.
Well, no, think about it. Like, you would get smashed, and then a half hour later, you would have gone through the I am recovering from being smashed. You'd have like 15-minute hangover and then be fine.
And then do it all again. How long
Yes,
does this party last?
Right, Tazik is getting flights. That's what I'm hearing. Like,
Tazik would just be like, great, let's keep going.
The party did not end until about like 3-4 a.m. We're talking Grogan. So, I mean, they have nutrient humps. They don't really need sleep if they don't want it. So yeah, you guys party next couple of days. They take the parts that they acquired that they didn't need and help you patch your ship. So now your ship is in much better shape. It doesn't have quite so many missing parts. And your freezer, well, anything that is refrigerated or greater has been filled to the brim with meats and bits. But before we progress too far into the next mission, I think Etsley wanted to have words with the doc.
I did. So sometime in our journey off into Coltland, absolutely will be making her way through the ship, having a hard time breathing, really a lot of shortness of breath and really struggling, and she is making her way expeditiously to the medical bay, hoping to find the doc there. And she takes a second at the end of the hallway she's been avoiding a lot this entire trip, before she takes the next steps to approach the medical bay doors. And as soon as the doors open, she'll be like, "Hey, Doc, are you here?"
And I think it's one of those moments where the doc has been actually following you for like probably 50 feet through the security footage because you're actually in physical distress, right? Like, she doesn't bother people when they're fine, but there's enough like physiological responses that show physical distress that she was on her way towards you, but at the same time did not wish. You had already expressed like this behavior that is such that you don't enjoy MedLab and don't want to be here. So she, was like, okay, I'm not going to push you too far and do any of these kind of things, but I need to be able, to follow you. And so it's like, okay, if you had turned away and hadn't come, she would have come out, but you came through the door. She's like, all right. And you come through, she leaves the doors cracked, not all the way closed, but at the same time not all the way open, cracked so it doesn't overwhelm you in the space, but at the same time closed enough to give the impression of medical privacy, right? Like, doesn't want, and like guides you to one of the beds where she's already got her hand on your wrist, taking your pulse, even as she's like walking you to like lay down and put your feet up. And all right, breathe deeply. It should be
That's the issue, Doc.
Okay.
I can't take a deep breath right now.
Okay, so then don't breathe deeply. Breathe high, like you're snorting. Sound like Buttercup. Sure. You should sound like Buttercup.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
and
now what?
Cough.
Cough? Okay.
And the fun thing,
Well, I was,
and the fun thing,
Uh-huh.
speaking it as an asthmatic, that is a physiological response that if you snort through your nose and then force out a cough, it will disrupt any wheezing that is not caused in your bronchial tubes. It's only psychosomatic. Fun things you learn about not breathing when you don't do it.
And as you feel Etzli's pulse, her pulse is racing, absolutely, just through the roof, along with this distressed breathing. And Etsy's like, I usually wouldn't like bother you with this type of thing, Doc, but I was told that this could be a symptom. Like I need to keep an eye out for like heavy metal poisoning and things like that.
Okay.
From my previous doctors. And as I'm breathing, like I hand you a
You muted yourself as you were talking.
I hand you a USB with my medical history, sci-fi USB, and I hand it to you. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, just look at this. Just this is what you need.
Okay, and she's gonna like pull because it's the Mass Effect universe, and we have them. They've got the big overhead eye kind of thing that looks like a dentist office lights above the bed, and she's gonna pull that down as she's pulling up like a kind of hard light display of your records to kind of look at, and she's gonna position it almost directly over your upper chest area to begin a full scan of basically your upper respiratory airway and your lungs. So work isn't bad. I'm
I sure would hope not.
almost impressed. These aren't And then she kind of like pauses looking at a couple of this and goes, did they not use titanium?
I didn't get all the specifics there, Doc. I was knocked out for the majority of that time, but it was something they did with like a collab with, I think, the Turians, I think. So I'm not 100% sure what's in there, but
And the minute you say collaboration with the Turians, she sighs. And goes, oh, well, they're not horrible. They do pretty good job. Look, the Turians are fine when it comes to medical understanding of trauma and what happens when a body starts to bleed or it's stabbed or shot. But they aren't always that great in considering other beings' physiological responses or biologies to their medical. And she starts like pulling, it's like, all right, so let's see, we need to, and then she goes, how is your breathing and what color is my eyes?
my breathing, I mean, it's getting there. Your eyes, I don't know, I say they change a lot. Right now, I don't know, like a hazily color, I think.
Not bad, you can see. And she will continue going through.
Am I not supposed to?
If you're really not breathing, you start losing your eyesight and you start seeing little dots go over your face and start, hazing out. Human biology is very interesting when it comes to lack of breath circulation. But you're doing all right. Your oxygen levels are fine. You know it doesn't feel like it, but your oxygen levels are indeed fine. Now, the question about heavy metal poisoning.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm going to have to fix that. And she kind of like, as she's been talking to you, you suddenly feel like this pinch in your hand. It's like, and that's how we're going to determine how much heavy metal poisoning you have. Sorry, blood tests are necessary at this point if I'm going to go by this. I mean, the reconstruction wasn't bad, but this void doesn't seem sound. Also, did they use any synthetic netting for the muscle picture? And she's looking at the records at the same time as she's obviously shifting like your shoulder and your scapula into a way that relieves any pressure that it might be putting on your rib cage, and almost if you had any physiological reason for not breathing well, it would have dissipated, short of asthma, which is an internal function. But anything external that would be putting pressure on your lungs is starting to dissipate. And she is going to go through and start pulling up like the blood work and seeing where you are in that way. And then, you know, as she's staring at this thing, her eyes don't blink the same way that they should. Remembering, of course, that Drell have 3 sets of eyelids. Fun times. But they aren't blinking, and she seems to keep refocusing as she's looking at something, as she's looking at it. And as it slowly comes back, well, your metals are a little high, but not horrible. I am slightly concerned. Do you mind if I take some MRIs, not X-rays? Contrast is needed for this point.
I guess if it's what you say, Doc.
Well, I need to see. And she kind of like turns. It's like, how are you with your own biology? I understand some people are much better about seeing other people's biology than their own.
Oh, about seeing my own stuff? I don't care about that, Doc.
Okay, good. And she like takes the display that's been sitting above you and like turns it so that she can put up the X-rays that you had given her, and goes, so you see here how it's just a giant blob? I should be able to see some distortion and distinction here. I'm not seeing any of that. Right, like this whole area, and she starts gesturing to where the rebuild of your like of your humerus and the whole upper portion of your shoulder is, and she goes, these are very bad X-rays.
Is that a me problem or is that an X-ray problem?
That's probably a shitty military installation bad X-ray problem. This is why we need MRIs.
I mean, I guess. Sure. I mean, like I said, whatever you say, Doc.
Cool.
This is your house.
Mm. I know, but I understand you have some professional ability, and I want to help you in whichever way you can, and I understand that this is not always a great time for people when they have to rebuild entire portions of their anatomy. It's sometimes stressful.
I mean, that's one way of putting it, sure.
Also, explosions suck.
Yeah, don't tell Bars that. He really likes them.
From personal experience, I am not a fan. Definitely not a fan of them up close and, here. So.
Yeah.
We'll take some MRIs. We'll take some look at this. I mean, have you ever done any... I mean, like, I've seen some of your work that you've done as mods for some things, like, did you ever look at your own before they did any? Did they tell you anything about what they did? Who did the work? Who did the implants? What company did the implants?
I'll be honest with you, Doc. I wasn't really there, that entire time. They might have said something, but I in through one ear out the other.
All right. Well then, and I need you, unfortunately, to drink this. And she hands you a giant pitcher of Tang.
Like the whole thing?
Yep.
You know, I'm a human, right? Like, this might take a while.
It's also going to taste horribly nasty, but it is unfortunately still the best, after centuries, the best way to ensure contrast goes through the human blood system accurately.
And I'll take a quick sip of it, like
it
oh
tastes
no,
like
this
Tang,
is nothing,
but
Doc.
It tastes like Tang,
This
but
is
there's like a
nothing, Doc.
metallic aftertaste to it.
Oh, this is nothing, Doc. You should see some of the things the Alliance gives us. And I just start shooting it as fast as I can, or chugging it.
And as she does so, it's like, do you care? Are you all right if I close the doors?
Yeah. It's just so long as I'm not looking at them.
Okay, well,
I'm
the
good
doors
with
you're
it.
not going to look at. And she goes over and closes the doors, and as you do, you see it, the doors close, and on the inside, she has had them reskinned to put an image of just like a vast desert on the doors when they're closed. that opens out.
Cute.
It's you're going to enjoy this. How are you with Hanar religious meditative music?
Now, I don't know much about Hanar meditative music, but I don't do great with meditative, Doc. It kind of stresses me out.
Well, we're not going to go meditative then. I have some Krogan dance music.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I never like it too quiet in here, then people start thinking things that they can come in when they're not allowed, and she just keeps talking not at you, but in that way of keeping you focused on what she's doing. Every time she makes a move, she's going to ask you questions about it, until she can go through and give you a whole MRI look at the rebuild of your entire upper right shoulder, scapula, ribs. Again, not bad work, but so a couple places here you can see where they were thinking Turian instead of human, and they fused portions of your bone that should not be fused in a human, but should be fused in, the birds that are Turian, to kind of give them. But they also left, this piece was pretty good. They also left this screw in here. This doesn't need to be in here. And she starts, like, drawing on the hard light display of the MRI. I mean, honestly, if you're okay with it, I could probably get this refitted for you in about 12 hours. Remove any possibility of heavy metal poisoning, and also possibly, you want this in porcelain and not in metals anyways. Make it lighter, make it not heavy. Maybe add a couple things that you want.
I mean, so long as you, like, let me take a lap. Let me take a lap first, and then
Take a lap, take
high
what you
myself
want.
up, and then I can...
I'll
then I
3D
can
print
come
this whole
back
and this way, Etzli. You don't have to come back when you don't want to.
Okay. I'm gonna go play with Buttercup for a little bit, and then when I come back, I'll be good to go.
Is there anyone you want here during the surgery to ensure that I don't do anything you don't want during the surgery?
No, I trust you, Doc. But could you tell Bars to, like, come bring, like, Buttercup
I will tell
while I'm in
Bars to come
recovery?
bring Buttercup, and you won't be allowed to drink, I'm sorry, but for like 24 hours.
That's fine. I've got enough going on.
Mm-hmm. Trust me, I understand. We all end up with special electronics because of our jobs. And then she kind of smirks and goes, "You're at least, mostly bone and not a lot of nerve. I can do this without messing with your nerves. You might even get better results on your gun."
That'll be nice.
Less recoil damage.
Oh. That would be really nice. All right.
And as you walk out the door, she'll have picked up the comm and go, Bars?
Yep.
Etzli's incoming. I am as a medical professional is prescribing at least an hour and a half with Buttercup.
Okay.
And the possibility of needing Buttercup as a stand-in medical professional in about 12 hours.
Wait, you want Buttercup to do what now?
Stand outside the door and wait to get lots and lots of hugs.
Oh. 'Cause I was gonna say, her paws don't really hold a scalpel too well, but... door garden she can do.
Mental health is just as important as physical health.
And so there is puppy time for Etzley, and surgery. But now
Throughout the whole time, Buttercup has got in her mouth a tooth from the Thresher Maw, she's holding it like a bone. Just will not let it go.
Oh, good heavens! In a ship that has been repaired and full of Thresher Maw bits, meat, and extra, we now have a Kryn played by Jesus. It's good to have you here, friend.
It
How are
is
you doing?
great to return, and this one is glad. This one is glad to be part of the adventure.
Yes, you haven't missed too much. Mostly, Krogan Victory Party stuck getting patched up, and Etzley having medical issues, that are being fixed. But as surgery is going on, there is, once you fly off from Tuchanka and change your heading to the Argus Road Cluster, you do get a ping, specifically crit, on comms. Norbert informs you, but through text on your HUD, that your handlers would like an update, and they have some intel for you.
That is good. Kryn sends out a message to the rest of the crew. Hello, fellow crew members. I would like you to know that our handlers have sent us a message. They wish an update, and they have an intel for all of us.
What's the point in Etzley's surgery at which this message is received?
Yeah, like where are we at in the surgery timeline?
I would say you are like this, because it's management. It has to be at the most inconvenient time. So like right in the middle of the reconstruction, like Doc is literally hands occupado in Etzley when this message comes in.
And the doctor's immediate response is, Kryn, you know I don't talk to management. That's your job.
Very well. Does anyone else wish to be part of this conversation? I'll take your awkward silence as a no.
I feel like you would just get like a short burst of noise that's Tazek being like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where Tazek is or what they're doing, but
Okay. Okay. Yeah, then I'm gonna Kryn is going to take a few breaths. Beep. Hello, this is Kryn. How can I be of assistance?
Greetings, Kryn. Wanted an update on your current heading and if the situation with the vessel has been dealt with.
The situation with the vessel has been dealt with. We had to perform some repairs on Tuchanka, which took a bit, not only because of getting the repairs, but dealing with the locals. But that has been taken care of. As for our next destination, GM, where are we heading to again?
Argus Road Cluster.
We are now heading to the Argus Road Cluster for the next part of our mission.
About that.
Oh?
Yes. Our informant that had the location of the Brotherhood has gone dark. Did note that the cult received a sizable number of people, but they did not seem to be searching out the cult willingly or brought in. It would behoove you and us if those that were absconded with would be rescued before whatever this group decides to do with them.
This one understands this has become a rescue mission. Of course, realizing that it has become a rescue mission, besides the possible, depending on the situation, removal mission, that would, of course, mean that perhaps an increase in payment might be due.
There's just this heavy sigh, if a Volus could sigh. And depending on performance, a bonus may be provided.
Can I have that in a contract?
I will have my secretary forward something.
This one kindly thanks you. I'll be expecting the email. Sorry, vidmail or whatever we use in Mass Effect.
You have a private email on your turn. But the voice continues. This is both a extraditing mission and, at this point, considering the escalation of events, this is also a force recon mission. I want you to tell me how many there were, not how many there are. Are we clear?
More than clear, yes. Notes that it seems that this cult is rather unethical, and thus we will have no issues with making them work.
Glad to hear it. Safe travels.
Safe travels to you as well.
Beep. Like cuts off before you finish the sentence.
That was rather rude. And then I grin, says, "Hello, fellow crew members. I just finished speaking with management, and there has been a change up in the mission with the cult. Apparently, first off, their informant has gone dark, which I'm assuming means has died horribly, and this particular cult has captured individuals, and not in the entrap them with mind games to become part of the cult, more in the kidnapping sort of way, most likely. And thus, we have been given the mission to rescue them on top of the perhaps observation we had been previously planned. And because of this escalation, two things occurred. Number one, most importantly, I asked for a raise. We got it. You're welcome. Number two, they have asked us to remove the cult, so to ensure they are no longer a danger to the individuals around them. Hopefully, no one here has a issue with removing a cult that captures people.
Crane, you got us paid more for doing what we were gonna do anyway.
You're welcome.
Tazik's all like, "Well done, Cran. Your negotiating is getting better. Did you hang up on them?"
A hang up did happen. Anyone else? Otherwise, let us continue on our journey. Oh, so how is the surgery going, Doctor?
Fine, Kryn.
The doc has hands in Etzli right now.
Oh,
She's a little busy.
oh, this one apologize. I will just. Well, I won't. I'll just. Beep.
And all you can hear coming, like, if Bars is outside the med lab,
I'm imagining he's outside the door with Buttercup.
yeah, you can hear the very loud from inside. I'm gonna go with, because it's not Krogan dance music, I think she's shifted now because it's very precise, and it's Torian, or no, not Torians. It's Asari salsa music. Rhythm is very important when you're doing very precise, surgical implantations.
So go ahead and give me a medicine test, Doc.
Okay. Can I? Well, I mean, I'm assuming that I can use my medical kit and all of
Yeah,
everything.
you
so...
get things at advantage, yes.
Yeah. It's an 11.
Roll 20 is in a mood.
It is double 11s. It just wants to give me all the ones. That's the answer.
It's not that you don't succeed. You
Mhm.
will succeed. But you end up you thought this was going to take like maybe 4 hours. This was both a combination of somebody trying out some new tech and full-on meatball surgery
I think
that
it's
you are trying to fix, and it is just like, this is elaborate and awful at the same time.
And I think as we get to a certain point when that happens, Bars would hear the music change, and just this string of Torian and Drell cursing coming from inside. And the music has definitely shifted to full-on Torian battle music. And you're just like, nah, I'm gonna... And you're just like, she's pulling these pieces very carefully out. She's putting them to the side because she's going to pull every single batch number, everything she can on this, and then fully destroy whoever did this surgery's life, because this is unacceptably bad. And she has a couple, and her brother married a Torian, so she knows a couple, and she can go mess up their lives.
No, you part of it is whatever that they put in Etsley, essentially cultivated scar tissue in the region. So you are having to do an awful lot of cutting. You end up having to put 2 more full units into Etsley during this surgery.
That's why I have the superior Metagel, because I couldn't get my hands on the military grade stuff, but it's almost as good.
Yeah, so no. What was going to be 4 hours doubled in time. But no, it was a success, but that sucked. You've worked on some terrible things. You have done some like emergency stuff. This was, you haven't dealt with something this frustrating in some time.
Oh, and I think part of it is that she is human. Because there's a small problem. She bleeds red.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be normally not a big deal, but unfortunately for the doctor has a small handicap when it comes to certain wavelengths of color.
Yes.
At the moment, as in, she can't always see them, so it's, lots of red is messing, kind of making things a little more complicated. She knew that was going to be an issue, and so she was prepared for that. It was this is so badly done that all of this extra scar tissue is just driving everything to an absurd level of effort, and she's going to have a migraine afterwards, and she knows it. But she will get this done because this is such a bad job. She needs to see, she needs to have this fixed, and Etsley deserves to not be either A, in pain, or B, concerned about heavy metal poisoning from this rebuild.
Now, Doc, and Etsley, both of you give me con saves, please.
Okay. 8.
13.
Doc, take 1 level of exhaustion.
I accept that. That's fair.
Etsley, I have good news and I have bad news.
Okay.
Good news. you are most definitely going to make a full recovery. And things will heal well. That being said, you essentially have a new shoulder. So until you adjust to your new physical being,
Mm-hmm.
you are at a -1 to hit
Okay.
with any shoulder style weapon. So anything that you're having to shoulder, yeah, it's just everything's new.
Absolutely valid.
Okay. So guys, make your way into the Argos Road cluster. You get to the system that you need to. It is a former mining planet. Heavily developed and then abandoned that you end up on. The last known location for the cult is essentially a repurposed mine. They went in there, cleaned things out, turned it into living space. But there are no maps for this mine whatsoever. And it is also particularly of note that this was a former platinum mine. So who knows what dust or other particulates are down there? And also its depth. So I'm going to say, do you guys want to hold a meeting before you land, or are we gung-hoing this?
I would like to hold a meeting.
Okay.
So I'll come over comms and be like, hey guys, let's meet up before we go off on this planet. Same place as usual?
Very well. Let us go.
Yeah, I'll be there. And if you, like, I think the doc actually gets there first, and for the first time ever, you see her with a travel mug size cup of some form of caffeinated beverage. Not coffee, but a very heavily caffeinated beverage.
Yeah, Corinne goes inside and is about to say something to the doctor, but notices her face and realizes, oh, she's in one of her rooms, and just is silent around you. Probably for the first time in a long time.
You have seen this mug before.
Oh no, it's the mug. This one will not interfere once the mug appears.
Because I'm just picturing, those like large hospital mugs.
Yeah.
And I'm just picturing, correct me if I'm wrong here, Prax, but I'm just picturing the doc with this hospital grade mug in that industrial plastic, and it is that matcha green of whatever fluid is in there is just that irradiated algae sort of green, and you can smell the caffeine wafting off of it. I know caffeine doesn't really have a scent, but this does.
It also probably smells, just because thinking about Drell physiology, it also it's not the caffeine that's the problem. It smells heavily of capsaicin.
Mm.
Oh, spicy caffeine.
Very spicy caffeine. It's like, you can track the amount of caffeine by the amount of capsaicin that's in this. Do not recommend anybody other than maybe bars ingest.
No, eating Krogan physiology, it's like that might be good going down, but it's not going to be good coming out. Uh,
I feel like Tazik wanders in and was like, just so you all know, I couldn't find you. I had to move some things. And Tazik's just like, I couldn't get to anything that the doc said I could actually eat that was like appropriately labeled. So like I had to rearrange the kitchen. There was so much Thresher Mom.
I
and
feel
I've
like
just
I have to clarify. Did you rearrange the supplies in the kitchen, or did you rearrange the kitchen?
Tazik doesn't know how to answer that.
Kryn takes a moment to switch over to the camera of the kitchen, switches back, and just sighs.
I did find some food though, so I have been fed.
Bryn, you cut over to the kitchen. You see Norbert in his Norbert suit, going around trying to put things back as the kitchen has, how do you say, exploded.
Norbert, you are real because you understand my pain. And for the
Didn't
first time,
the
Kryn.
Loki drones put things away first? Like it wasn't even you, Kryn.
Most of the Loki drones were not salvageable. They
Yeah,
never
not now. But like the first time around, they're the ones who stock the kitchen.
Yeah, now it's Norbert trying to, like, I can just, for some reason, there's an entire drawer that's just on the kitchen table. Like,
Like nothing has technically left the kitchen that shouldn't, nor has anything been added that shouldn't. But that does not mean that anything is where it should be within the kitchen.
Has the kitchen become a paradox?
you can say that. For some reason, you think, was that an axe?
When did we get an axe?
You would think by now I would have learned to stop asking questions I don't want the answer to. Edsley, you wanted to take the lead on this one, right?
Yeah, I'll say as I'm walking in. And I'll be like, hey Norbert, can you make sure this information stays between us, private between us? And like you, but like don't share this with like other people who might ask you for this information.
Executing Eclipse Protocol.
Ooh, I like that name.
Room is now secure. You may
Thank you,
begin.
Norbert. So hi guys. How do I start this? So we learned about this biocult thing, yeah, whatever. Also when we headed to Omega, I started seeing a lot of signs of my own work inside of weapons that should not have that work in them. Some of you might be familiar with my brand, Calyx Mods, and it's very private. I choose who gets to be on the list. I choose who can have what when. And my stuff being out there, being used on items that I had no idea existed is not the way things should be going. It's why I went to go talk to your guy, Kryn. That weapon he sold you had signs of my work, my earlier work in it, in a way that someone took my designs and tried to do something with them, which legally they better hope I never find them. But, you know, consequently here, somebody had access to my stuff. So I went around and I asked everyone various questions in hopes of finding who the mole was. And there was only one person who didn't respond, and that was one of my old military buddies, Froggy. And after I went to go talk to the rest of the squad, I was told that Froggy had kind of fallen in with a bad bunch, and after talking to another one of my buddies, I found out that he is in this cult that we are about to approach. Possibly a big part of this cult, using my mods to enhance their psychosis. Now, the other thing is, while we were on Tachanka after our fight with the Thresher Maw, I got a ping from one of my brothers saying that my dad got a message to go somewhere, and the coordinates are out there in the same location as our mission. And I look specifically at Kryn. This stays between us. All right, stays between nothing to your government or whatever the fuck you work in. I don't need to know.
Of course.
One of my buddies in Cat 6, he sent me a message that I paid to get decoded and decrypted on Omega, and he was compromised, and he apologized to me. And he never apologizes to me. He's that kind of guy. And he apologized to me. And I'm concerned that Froggy either found out and took my dad, or there's something else nefarious going on here. I just want to let you guys know that I have some personal stake in this mission we're going up into before we get started.
Well, first off, it seems that we must make it a extra priority to ensure the rescue occurs successfully. We wish to ensure, of course, that your father, if he is here, is not in the crossfire. So we, I guess, can't go our usual guns blazing approach necessarily.
I would appreciate it.
Question about your friend that has joined this cult. How much do you care about his living?
And there's only 3 guys, 4 if you include me, that got out of the military with me. Everyone else died. My friend Ulysses might be dead now. Cat 6 dude. So these would be the last 2 people alive from my old life. So I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt. But you know, if he has to die, he has to die. But I'd like to give him a chance. I know, obviously, this is not a good look.
We take him alive no matter what. Because whether you kill him or not, we gotta find out who else he sold your shit to.
True. Very true.
We ain't necessarily gonna take him in one piece as long as he can talk. That's the important bit. We get him out. Everything else we can worry about later.
So,
good point.
Yeah. So it seems we have our mission. Try our best to rescue the people captured by this cult. Try our best to ensure their former friend is not killed. Everyone else of this cult is fair game. Unless, oh no, they might just be brainwashed. There's morality here, isn't there? Should we bother?
That sounds like a problem for future us.
True. Then, priorities. Rescue people. Make sure former friend does not die. Or at least is in most pieces we can recover. Everyone else, we'll see how circumstances go. Any
can-
other?
I can fix anything short of immediate death.
Very well. I will try my
Uh,
best not to cause immediate death.
I don't
And
know
Tazik's
how
just-
much. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Taz is
No,
just
you
like,
go.
forget all of the rest of this. Carl and I will help you track your stuff because people don't steal things around here. Tazik's like feels very strongly. Is just like, hold on. The rest of this is okay. I feel you have family members. Solarians don't have the same thing. We don't in the same way. So Tazik's like, I don't really like. Okay, a family member, sure, but your things that people have been selling.
The indignancy is in the right spot.
Absolutely, absolutely not. Taz, if you need us to hack anything, let us know. Carl's got this. I've got this in support of Carl, or alternatively, Carl in support of me. We will find the rest of your stuff.
Yeah, about
Okay.
that. We've gone in multiple times to places that were abandoned and ruined. We pulled shit out that we then later got to use or gave to people. We're gonna raise this place to the fucking ground.
This one agrees.
Last
After
piece of
rescuing the
info.
hostages,
Taz is
The
like,
hostages
Norbert,
are out of the
do
building
we-
when we blow it up, yeah.
yes.
Norbert,
They're
do we
on
have
our
space
ship.
to put hostages? Like, where would we even put hostages?
Actually, important question. How many hostages are we talking about?
You're the one who took the call, Crit.
This one did not. They did not give me numbers.
You
It was
didn't
very
ask?
general. This one.
I
didn't-
mean, we have the whole ship, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 6 of us, so
that is fair. This
up
is
7. Buttercup, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
7 of us.
Thank you.
This
And
you are
you
correct.
can
There
grab
is
them in.
we will
That's
figure
what
it
it is.
out.
Last info I'll give you. I don't know how much this bio bullshit and human enhancement thing has taken effect, but the reason Froggy is called Froggy is because he was always the jumpy one of us, so that might work in our advantage if he still has that same affliction.
Psychological warfare. Added notes added.
Is
Biologic.
that green?
Could you repeat that? Sorry.
He's not green.
He's not green. He's human.
Okay. Disappointment.
Yeah.
Tazik's is imagining like a frog person. And it's like, I've seen photos of frogs, different types of amphibians, and was imagining this.
And I'll show you guys like a picture of my dad also. It's like a family photo, and I'll just like zoom in on him so you guys know what he looks like.
He looks good for a human.
Okay, Grin.
I sorry. I apologize. I was trying to be helpful. But this is a thumbs up, as you humans do. Correct.
Do-
Hard to do with a tentacle, but he tries. They try.
Does your father have any immediate medical concerns that we should be worried about? Heart replacement, high blood pressure, hypertension?
He has a bad left knee.
Alright, that's easily dealt with.
Does he have any type of implants or anything else we could potentially track him by?
My dad? No. He's a pretty straight cut dude.
What about Froggy?
And
Right.
Froggy?
Does he have any medical implants?
From our time in the Alliance, I would say I think he probably still has he had a bad finger. Do you know, are you guys familiar with like dislocating like fingers? He like was in sports or something when we were in school when he was on Earth. And like I guess he just has an easily dislocatable finger. I don't know if he ever got that fixed. I don't even know if that can be fixed, but that was a thing he had. But I don't think that ever got anything. But that might be one of his bio enhancements. I don't know. I didn't really keep track of Froggy after we left the Alliance. Just, personal reasons. So I'm not sure to answer your question.
And then she's going to turn to everybody else and go, how big a mess do you want, or do you want them all knocked out?
The
When you say them, do you mean the cult or the hostages?
Both.
Knocking the hostages out it depends how panicky they get.
I
it
mean, I
would-
can aerosolize some very easy anesthetics.
it would be easier to handle unconscious individuals instead of people screaming about, "Oh no, help, rescue me," blah blah blah, as many of them do. So maybe it's something that will knock them out and not cause them harm, and hopefully perhaps knock out some of the cultists. Although with the biohazards they have, they might not be effective.
I would rather we calm them than knock them out, because based on our track record, we might be leaving fairly quick.
True.
And if we don't know how many of them there are, we may only get one exit trip.
Mm.
Also, carrying a bunch of hostages when they can walk themselves out. I skip arm day.
Yeah, about that. Ensley, remind me, your dad, is he ex-military? What's his...
Nah, he's
No.
a civvy. Normal
Cool.
guy.
Then
Runs a restaurant.
what I reckon is, hey, Tazek, I reckon we bring Argos. Shove Ensley's dad inside him.
Ooh.
Keep him safe on the way out.
GM, how long was our trip from Tachanka?
To get to the Arcos Drill Cluster and get on station, that would have been 13 days.
Okay. Tyson would be like, I've been working on it. I think I got you. The Tazik has been busy thing. Tazik was trying.
All right.
And
So we put your father in Argos. We subdue and evacuate the hostages. You can do whatever you want with the cultists, and then we burn it all to the ground.
That sounds like a plan.
Sounds
I brought
good.
my flamethrower, so.
But first, question. How do we approach? Do we want to be subtle, although we are not great at that? Do we want to go in guns blazing? That risks the hostages. What is the plan here?
I reckon if they took Ensley's dad, they know we're coming.
Is this?
I say we kick the door down. Admittedly, I was probably going to suggest that no matter what the situation was, so...
From personal experience, can I vote we make our own door and not use the one that's probably booby-trapped to explode in your face?
That is fair. I'm sure the doctor does not want to put you back together again, our Krogan friend.
No, I have no
Oh,
problem with
there
that.
you go.
I
The
don't want
definition of door can be flexible.
All right. So can we? I know you said it's a mine, GM. What? And there's no maps, but is there any we can do a scan of everything to get an understanding of where there might be tracks or recognition of entrances?
You are on station above the planet.
Yeah.
You can try with an electronics test to do a surface scan of the planet.
But a 23.
Ooh.
23 is quite good. So you use the sensors in the ship. You do program a full scan. Takes about half an hour. Things of note. There's again a cluster of buildings near the primary mine entrance. It looks like the mine entrance doors have been reinforced, and looks like there were two other entrances to the mine, but both of those have been collapsed. You would need some heavy moving equipment to get access to those. As for the region near the mine entrance, yeah, there's a few buildings there circling the entrance, making it an excellent place to get ambushed.
Two questions. First is when we say that they've collapsed the like secondary entrances and we need heavy equipment, would a missile launcher or a grenade launcher or any other large ordnance we might have picked up on our last adventure?
Normal missiles and grenades are not heavy duty enough for the kind of rock you're dealing with. If you had additional charges on the cane, that yeah, but also it's the cane, there would be collateral damage to the area. So you might clear the debris and create even more debris.
Okay. Secondary question, since there are some buildings and things that are near the main entrance, is there any type of uplink or connection from the station that we could make an attempt to query or, if necessary, hack to see if there's anything we can get about the cult or anything on the ground?
You would have to breach those buildings. There's definitely electricity running to them, but you would actually have to go into the building to try and find anything, because if they got anything, it's not to where you have access above planet.
I wasn't sure if there was like, I don't know, an old uplink.
No, look again. This place is out of the way. Like, there's a number of city centers away from the mine, but again, they're all abandoned. Like, there's no power.
Where are they getting
there.
food?
That's an excellent
Can
question.
we bribe them with thresher moths? They don't have to know that it's toxic to them. Potentially toxic to them.
You're assuming that they won't be able to eat it.
I said assumingly. We don't know who. Do we have like a profile of this cult from our handlers? Do we have like any additional information besides that there's a cult?
If you pull up your briefing.
Did I read the brief? Did anybody read the briefing?
This one did, and it's this, says I point to the GM.
Yeah. They do not have names. They just have photos of multiple members. It is noted that each of these individuals are either former governmental or private military. Many of them are biotic. Many of them are L2s.
Interesting. So they're all, I mean, I'm basing this on the fact that they're all human.
Most of them. There's like one or two Krogan, two Taurians, but for the most part, they're human. You've got like 30 cult members in total. There is no identification of who is the leader of the cult, just pictures of individuals. It is briefed that they seem to be, all of them, exceptionally persuasive, but kind of unsettling. And all of them have some form of physical limitation, usually due to being, again, military, private military, have a number of injuries that may have persisted, gone wrong, poorly treated, etc.
And they're living in an abandoned mine?
Currently, they were on our planet, but fled.
What caused them to flee?
Governmental crackdown.
Crackdown on what? Their politics or something else?
Seems as though the cult was getting money in a less than savory way.
They're a cult. What are they, a pyramid scheme?
Sex, drugs,
no.
or
No, they were market manipulating.
Ah.
like there's this moment where she looks at it and goes, "Really? That's why they changed?"
That is rather upper class criminality from a cult.
I got news for you about the upper classes, my friend.
Okay, so we have some basics of, like, not specifics, but general members of. We know that there's the buildings. We pretty much only have that one primary entrance as far as we're able to tell from the scan. Everything else is blocked off. Is there any heavy equipment just around? It is an abandoned mine.
There's large bits of equipment, but they all seem to be, from your scans, inert. Like, if they have any form of electric motor or anything of that nature, is either from your scans, like, again, you get EM reads, and those things are either running on exceptionally old technology, or all of the parts that would make the thing go have been pulled.
Over under, how old compared to, like, Carl having to get the tanks running?
Not, again, those tanks were centuries old. These are, like, I want to say 80 years old.
Okay. That is all the questions that Tazek would have wanted to know for now.
So how do you all want to approach? Are you taking your assault craft, or are you having your entire Big Bird land outside?
Or perhaps going on foot. That would be the least likely to be caught if we're stealthy about it.
I know. I think we gotta take the Big Bird because we don't know how many hostages there are.
True.
The closer we get that, the easier the rescue. Unless we trust Norbert to fly it close when we're done. That's the other option.
I think giving possible needed and necessary medical treatments might be needed, given the fact that this is a cult that deals with cybernetics of some sort. As close as possible to get as many people on here as possible, without multiple things. Also, I'm always of the fan of the closer the ship is, the easier it is to escape. Plus, it's a lot more bulletproof.
Very well then. We strike hard and fast. That is the plan.
Of course, other plan could be we just kill a lot of them and then we can use their own facilities to treat whoever needs. Before we blow with all the shit.
That is possible, if they have the facilities.
I mean, they've been, I presume, putting cybernetic shit in people, so
That is.
I don't know how that works.
That is logical.
If they're all dead, we got time. But if they ain't all dead or we have to run away real quick, having the ship there is probably a good idea.
Fair enough. Then team, hard and fast.
And on that note of phrasing,
We shall thrust into them hard and fast.
That is our plan of attack for penetration. That is, yeah.
somewhere Lindy is cackling. And you guys fly down, park as near as you can to those buildings. You're a quarter of a click away. So because the earth around here there's a lot of gravel. And you do not want to necessarily park a frigate on gravel.
I mean, actually, before we do that, if we're worried about parking too close, we can just have Norbert do a flyby, still staying close, and we just jump out, slow fall. We just float down.
If you want to do a helo, by all means.
Does Norbert know how to park?
Norbert knows how to park.
I think we've also established that Argos is not as good on the Featherfall, slow fall.
Oh, that's right. We can only take so many people.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, I hope that I used those 13 days well, so that he's like a little better prepared, and we've learned from the last time we did this.
He is still a giant weight.
Mm-hmm.
Can I put like?
That's our way in. Argos jumps. He dives through a hole in the roof, and then we all follow through the Argos-shaped hole afterwards.
I was gonna say, would Argos make a hole? Like how deep?
Those are blast doors. Argos would land, and then we would, depending on how high up, like I don't recommend dropping Argos for terminal velocity. That will end poorly for Argos, the door, and anyone behind it.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, we're not using the door; we're targeting the roof.
Well, the roof is a mountain.
The roof is a mountain.
So we throw him hard. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. That your ability is not cannot carry enough people to.
No, sadly, I can't include Argos in this slow fall. If we choose to go down that route.
I vote for not doing a base jump and instead just quick exit is fine.
How self-sufficient is Argos? Like, could we break in and have him follow us? Like, if we make a big, attack to distract things, could then Norbert land the ship after and have Argos come in after us? Since he's there mainly for extraction.
Argos could walk in after y'all, and Norbert can definitely pilot the plane. So
if we want to combine both of these as we do the helo and then Norbert, since they're too busy fighting us to shoot the ship down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I would have fixed up Argos. Everything we've learned over this entire series of sessions to be slightly better than before. And so since he could follow you earlier in like our first episode bars, maybe our second, would have that ability to kind of be autonomous.
Yeah, I just don't know how badly damaged Argos was and if that functionality is still present.
Surprisingly enough, he was very robust, and Tazik has had 13 days and new parts.
How much trouble do you think I could cause in 13 days? With help?
Yes.
With Krogan salvage. No. Argos is like now the equivalent, not quite Hulkbuster, but getting there.
Yeah, because a bunch of him was based on Krogan warlord armor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would have also given him a mount in case I ever want to put an actual giant cannon on his back.
Oh, he has. By now, he has 2 shoulder mounts.
Yes.
One has the grenade launcher currently installed, and the other one is empty, unless
Mhm.
you want to have put something else on.
No,
don't know
I
if
think
any
I
of our
would
heavy
have.
weapons have ammo left.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think I would have left it until we had something to put there that like
Mhm.
would be usable. So yeah, so Argos would have gotten a lot of work done. That I was busy was Tazik being like, I'm in the middle of a crafting phase, trying to get Argos up and running. Secondary question before we all jump out of our ship: is Carl coming with us?
Yes.
I don't see why he wouldn't.
I
If he feels up to it.
I strangely enough agree. Despite his murderous tendency, he has been proved. It has proved useful.
Because of his murderous tendencies, I don't want Carl and Norbert left flying the ship.
Fair.
Oh, that's true. We don't want to leave them together. That usually goes badly. Okay, then Carl would be coming along, and I feel like Tazik would have also, in the process of like bringing Argos back up to par, would have like fixed up the little dock on the backpack so that Carl can just hang out and can make the jump with me.
Mm-hmm.
Carl's little baby Bjorn.
Yes. Okay,
So-
I have no further questions.
Sounds like y'all are ready.
Let's go.
So Norbert pulls up like right above the that classic Mass Effect. You're going into a mine. Mass Effect 1. You guys are flown over. You jump out of the loading hangar. Slow fall is cast. You guys touch down. The ship starts pulling away. As it does so, you now see, and what was surprisingly well hidden and is now arming, is on those buildings, a number of drones are then released. Missile drones.
Barrier.
At us?
You guys
or
can
the
try the
ship?
door. They're going after the ship.
Oh, okay. Then this is just as they're distracted by the ship, we rush to the door.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I feel like we just upgraded our ship. It'll probably do okay.
How many drones are we talking?
10 drones.
All right.
You get a
You're all
little
welcome to start trying to open this door. I'm gonna start trying to shoot down some of those drones.
as you guys are addressing the door,
Buttercup's on the ship. I'm shooting the fucking drones.
a little
Okay, fair,
query,
fair.
a little query comes up. Permission to fire for effect from Norbert.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Is that going to all of
Yes,
us?
please.
And so your ship begins firing.
The
So-
duck is just using throw for biotics as she's running at the drone. Mostly as distraction while she's running. Not
Who's
really expecting
trying
to
the
hit.
door? Just real quick.
Tazik definitely would have gone for the door.
All right. Well, Tazik, give me an electronics test.
Oh, wow.
Jeez, you were pre-prepared between all. I like the idea of between all these doors that you've had to slice open since joining this group. It's now like you just have like an entire protocol suite on your Omni tool, and it's just like go.
It's like we keep running at all these doors that are closed, and it's annoying me. I hate closed doors.
So yeah, as far as you begin firing, Doc, you're using throw at a distance. Door immediately opens up. Like you're used to this like taking like minutes, and it's just
The door is ready, everyone.
Let us go.
So you head in. And that's when things start taking a turn. There is some interior lighting. But anyone who's been in the mine, it's that it is either between the glow of horrific fluorescence or the yellow hue of sodium lamps. And it cuts between the two as you go down. The descent down the stairs, there is no being silent. You guys are wearing armor. Those are metal stairs. You hear your footsteps echo through the hallway. And you come out into, for anyone who's played Mass Effect 1, a very familiar sight of a mine that has a bunch of crates just stacked up, creating walls, essentially. Nice maze in this open chasm. Now, Kryn, you do have the ability to float and repulse. So you might be able to get a far better vantage point than everybody else, as the crates do not go all the way to the ceiling. But they are 10 to 12 feet tall. Number of industrial cranes.
I cast fly myself and float up to get a better vantage point.
Give me a perception test.
Okay. Oh, forgot to bring out my character sheet. There we go. Perception. 23.
You guys are rocking these checks.
Mm-hmm.
I have news. You definitely see the hostages. That is on the far side of this section of the mine. There is what can generously be referred to as a holding cell. Looks like there's roughly 10 individuals inside. Some of them standing, some of them lying down on cots, some lying down on the ground. But you also see a number of Loki mechs all over the place. No signs of people aside from the hostages.
As I'm floating up, I'm looking at this. I say all that to my crew. This seems like a trap.
Good to know.
How many Loki mechs?
Mulling around through this level of the facility, Kryn, you count 6.
6.
They look like they're in the middle of performing automated tasks.
And you said there's numerous crates all over the place.
Oh, yes.
This is going to be it's probably super high DC, but can I look at them and see if any of them have been recently opened or closed? Or is that a bit out of the range?
That's a bit out of range.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
You can tell that one of the mechs is not in one of the wall crates, but on a separate crate that's like on the ground, and it's a section of this maze, essentially, looks to be unloading bio mechanical legs.
Hmm.
They're doing knee replacements. Okay.
The minute you say that there's a maze and there are patients, the doc is climbing the wall, the wall of crates.
All right, give me an athletics or acrobatics test.
That's gonna be acrobatics. 26.
26.
You're nailing this.
Yep.
Yeah. And fuck this maze shit. Across the crate.
Yep. And I'm actually, with my flying, I'm following behind her.
Well, as the two of you rush on ahead,
Well, I mean, she's gonna she's gonna look at bars, and the others is like, well, I have patience. I'll see you there.
Actually, let me change that. I'm gonna go up and I'm going to say to the non-climbers / flyers, because I can see the entire maze. I'm giving directions.
okay.
Are there any terminals or anything else like that would be within field of sight?
Bryn would be able to point you towards a terminal is in a separate section. It looks like there's a little, like, for lack of a better term, small office space in one of these little cubbies. So let's follow Tozic first, and then we'll get to those of you who are going to come across either the mechs or get to the hostages.
To that, before that, yeah, as the Doc and Kryn are taking off, and Tazik is apparently taking off in his other direction towards the office, Boris is just gonna turn to Ed Slizzer.
Well, this has already gone to shit. It's your dad at risk. Your call. Which way are we going?
Gotta make sure the place is safe first. I guess we're going for those Loki mechs.
And like I said, I'm giving you perfect directions so you're not lost in the maze of where you can go.
So, Tozic,
Yes.
you get to this sort of makeshift office. There are a number of monitors and terminals with him. Some of them are similar to some of the terminals that you would have seen specifically in the docks suite on the ship, as well as a biomechanical scanning bed.
Okay. Would relay this to the doc that like it wasn't actually an office, but would be looking for any, I guess, like the monitors of the terminals to be like, is there anything that I can plug into here and see if we can get any further
Yeah.
information?
You can plug into stuff. Go ahead and give me an electronics test.
Here we
11.
go.
You are caught off guard by whatever programming language this thing is in. And it seems that you've tripped a security defense. I need you to give me a Constitution save.
See, I just knew we were front loading all those good rolls.
Right? Oh no!
Nat 1.
Why'd I say?
Yeah, you were right. We're front loading all of those rolls. God damn it.
So, because it's a Nat 1, 2 things happen.
Even though I get my +5 with it? Okay.
So, step 1. Take 24 necrotic. Ow. Your shields will absorb some of that.
Got it.
But when the shields drop, you feel the nanites dig into you.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Mhm. And now part 2. I need you to give me a wisdom save, please. That's a 4.
Oh no.
Welcome to the hive mind, Tazik.
Ooh.
You are no longer in your body.
Can I still communicate with the team?
No.
Uh,
That is unfortunate.
yeah, this seems probably.
Something has taken your consciousness, placed it with a bunch of other consciousnesses in some sort of virtual realm.
2 questions. One, I was waiting for this to play out, but I had wanted like Carl to be out to try and also hack the things. Would Carl take initiative on his own?
Would you like percentile roll or the happy sad die?
I feel like both have gone both great and terribly for me. Let's do a happy sad die.
Mhm.
It's the last one. Let's go.
That was the happiest of faces.
Oh
I'm
ho!
terribly sad.
Oh ho ho!
So, Carl notices that your bio signs are not responding the way that they normally do. Immediately flags the doc that Tazik is compromised, and there is definitely some nanite-based security in this facility.
Cool. So as the doc is running across the top of the maze, she gestures with her arm out to fling the nanites from her tech armor at Tazik's body. I'm gonna try and get that stabilized first. Well, because nanites are a bitch and she does know how to deal with them. But this is going to be a faster way to get it at least begun to be controlled.
And Tazik, go ahead and roll me a D100.
Okay. Can I ask my second question while I'm doing this?
Certainly.
Which is that wherever I am in as a consciousness with these other consciousnesses,
Yeah.
what is it like? Contextualized with this read like data all put together.
It looks like you're in some sort of 1950s Earth-based hotel.
Oh, we rioting! Like we gotta do a rebellion here. Let's go. Can I talk to the other consciousness? Like
They 75, not great. That's the thing. When you start to approach them, either A, they run,
I'm not that scary.
or B, for the reference, they pull their steely knives.
Okay, do I have a steely knife?
No.
You know, that spirit hasn't been here since 1963.
I'm feeling cheated. Do I got anything here? Can I open a door? Can I like take a
Oh,
leg
yeah,
off
you can-
of a
you can-
chair?
You can open any of the doors in this hotel lobby.
But
Including
you
the
can
one back
never
outside.
leave.
You can try.
Okay. Well,
You want to go through the front door?
I feel like this will go great and or terrible. I'm sorry, everyone. This is not how I thought this would go.
Oh, good.
Is there anything else that would be like stand out besides the other consciousness? Like,
There's this grand staircase that leads further in.
I'm not sure how I feel about this. All right, Tazik's gonna do what Tazik does.
Which is
Whereas Taz is gonna try and open the front door.
awesome. You open the front door. You're not in the hotel anymore. It is now quite sandy, a very strange landscape. With odd objects jutting out of the sand. The sky is a blue-purple, and as you step further and further away from the door, you hear a similar rumbling to one that you experienced about 2 weeks back, as the earth trembles. But instead of a thresher maw cresting, it is a white and black banded sandworm.
Sand is the worst. I hate this. Are the other consciousness still inside? They're all gone?
They're back where you left.
Okay, so there's just like a door into a hotel.
There is just a door, just a standing door in the middle of nowhere. There's no building attached to it.
Cool. Okay. Tazik doesn't know how to process this. This is very outside Tazik's frame of reference. It's just like, can any of you talk?
Do you go back inside, or are you still out in the sands?
I think Tazik is just like yelling this, like at the door, at the worm that showed up.
There is no response from inside. The worm is getting closer, and it looks like it's going to try and eat you.
All right, Tazik's just gone through this, so we are going to learn from our past mistakes and go back through the door because Tazik doesn't want to get eaten. The team isn't here.
We're back inside. And as the strains of Hotel California begins to play over the speakers, let's check in with the rest. So, Etzli, Bars, you are going after these Loki mechs. Crane is giving you
Yes.
directions to their different locations. Thing is, when you arrive at the first one, it doesn't pay any attention to you. It doesn't pull a gun or anything. It is just focusing on sorting these containers. They all contain what looks to be military-grade metagel. They're taking them out of these different crates, and then taking a tool and scraping off the VIN numbers.
I want to do a scan of the Loki mech with my Omni tool
All right,
to
go ahead
see
and give
what
me
the
a
fuck.
electronics test.
15.
This high-end military combat-grade mech has been turned into a monotask servitor.
I look at Bars and I'm like, they made this thing into just like a one-trick pony.
Like
This is
all
one
of
of some
its,
of the most advanced technology,
like
and
the
they make it a one-trick pony.
the hardware is all there, the software is not. The software is an entirely different OS.
This kind of worries me that these were a test prototype, but doing it to the Lokis. Maybe they're doing it to the people too.
That was very concerning. And I just double check that nothing that they're like handling has any like weapons that can come back and like bite us in the ass.
You're looking around, but there's just so many crates. Like you scan like one of the other crates that's nearby. It's full of antibiotics. Another crate is full of medical grade stainless steel that is just in like small strips. Another is filled with disinfectant. Like, this is all stuff that you would normally find at the hospital, but looks like they have somehow purloined this stuff from like hospitals all over the place.
This is fucked. I don't know what's going on here, but this is some freaky shit. Let's
Well,
leave
if
these
the
things to what they're
Lokis ain't
doing.
gonna attack, if the Lokis ain't gonna attack us, Doc's running off straight into an obvious trap. So let's make sure she don't get killed.
Yeah.
We'll worry about the
Let's
rest of this
go.
later.
So, Doc,
I think it's one of those moments as she's ready, she'll just put, message in the group chat. It's like, sometimes you just have to spring the trap.
you get to the holding cell.
Uh-huh. Again, going over the tops of these crates.
You look down.
Yeah, she's...
You definitely see amongst the hostages Esley's father.
Mm-hmm.
However,
Mm-hmm.
like, all these folks, like, seem to be in some form or stage of a fugue state.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem similar to the fugue state Carl just told me about from Tazik?
Yes.
Cool. Cool. And she posts on the thing, it's like, lights on but nobody's home, in the group chat. Is there any immediate, obvious booby trap on this holding cell?
No, it is incredibly low tech. It is just two, like, aside from the bars,
Mm-hmm.
it is a hard to scale, like, 13-foot tall holding pen with a heavy double lock.
And
But with a cutting tool, you could like cut through these bars and get people out, or
I mean,
possibly just disable the lock.
that's why she has a monoblade. But, looking at it before she does so, are there any immediate are any of the patients in immediate medical distress?
No, the thing that you're doing with your medical scan, I'm not even like, you have the tools. I'm not even going to go like make you make a check here. They are all in stable condition. Some of them are a little like vitamin D deficient, but they all seem to be in relatively good health. But you can tell the bioelectrics on your scans don't match up with anything you've seen before. These people are emitting more like of an electronic field than people do.
That's not good. They put something in the humans, or in the patients. Hold that thought. And she's going to, because she hasn't gotten off the wall yet, go back towards Tazik. And as she approaches that area where Tazik is kind of set up, from the way the biobed and medical setup is, before she touches anything, can she gauge the level of professional, like, particularly after she just rebuilt Etzley's arm? Are we talking Dr. Frankenfurter, Dr. Frankenstein, or Dr. Frankenstein?
Go ahead and give me a medicine test for this one.
Okay, that's fair. 20. Dirty 20.
It's Dr. Moreau on a shoestring budget,
There's a sigh.
but with like has somehow purloined some like military grade hardware, but there's also like couldn't get all the stuff on their wish list. So some of the things were acquired from wish.com.
So what we're hearing, what she actually is hearing, is she's hearing Dr. Moreau with an infantry medical budget.
Yes.
Be on the lookout for the doctor. They are a shithead.
Noted.
Violent shithead of the very twisted kind. Going to try and see what just took away Tazik's ability to stand upright and or be cognizant.
Oh, the Tazik is perfectly stuck still and standing. Hasn't fallen down,
Excuse me.
but is like
Lights on
like a punch-drunk fighter. Like the body is standing. There is no one home.
She's gonna... So this doesn't technically say that this is possible, but it makes sense to me, at least within the flavor of the ability. She put the tech armor on Tazik, which is the trauma suite, right? Like, there's now a trauma suite on her if nanites that can be used to perform healing remotely and everything. Can I, from that distance, without actually healing, get a gauge of her actual, like, what medically happened to her?
Certainly. Again, you said it's a trauma suite. I like the flavor. And I'm always for, like, if there's something that, like, seems reasonable within the lines of mechanics, I am always here to negotiate.
Yeah.
No, it's trauma suite. You get readouts. The electrical field in Tazik's body is building to the same amperage that the other patients are at. Hasn't hit that point yet, but it's building.
Okay, can I interrupt that?
How would you like to go about that?
Using the nanites that are part of the trauma suite, can she basically EMP but the electrical build, or at least ground it out, like, kind of thing?
Go ahead and give me a medicine test.
Okay. 23.
Initial thought, that might have unwanted side effects. Whatever's going on, it may cause because the body is stock still, everything, but a swift EMP may cause
Would cause
complications. You could try and have essentially your nanites function as artificial immune response and try and force the offending nanites out.
Yeah. Do you want me to use is it a first aid healing for that? Okay. Then
That
I will use
sounds more reasonable.
I will use a first aid healing for that. Hee. So 6.
Okay. So things happen.
Hold on. You get 2 more D12. So 18.
Good news, Tazik. You healed 18 hit points.
Yeah.
other news. So, Tazik, you experienced something very disorienting.
More than what's already happened?
Yes. You're in the hotel. Hear the music playing. The people who ran off before are gone. It's now just like looks like the hotel staff, and they're coming at you with like long butcher knives. And as they're about to start disassembling, you flick back to your body. You're there for you see the doc, you see Carl, you see the room that you're in. Like things start to register, and then you're back in the hotel, and then you're back in the room, back in the hotel, back in the room. And so you get this sort of like stuttering for a moment, just as one knife is about to be planted into your face. You're now fully back in your body.
I just imagine that like Tazik would have like started to move and talk, and you get like half of a syllable and part of a body move, and then like stop and go. And that was weird. Doc, I've just had an existential crisis. I don't want to do that again.
They were trying to take over your body. Breathe deeply.
There were knives.
There were nanites. She puts out an alcohol on the thing from where she's like leaned, like gargoyle perched on the top of this pile of crates, and goes, "Beware of the nanites. They will take your soul." And like I said, I can hear everything short of death. Apparently, I can even do something for minor soul possession. I thought only priests could deal with that.
Is this similar to the nanites we dealt with before?
Is it?
From your
He
scan,
stares real hard at the GM.
if you pull up your data from before, similar architecture, similar base architecture, different purpose.
Similar design, different usage. And she like sends that scanning to both Bars and Etzli and Tazik.
It's, to put it another way for our zoologically inclined, you are looking at a picture of a jaguar and a Florida panther. They are both big cats. However, how they go about things, where they live, what their predetermined is, diet, all of that stuff.
Okay, well, Tazik's just gonna like grab Carl and hug him and like take like 3 steps back from the terminal that Tazik was trying to access before.
Yeah, you see now that you step away that the terminal you're working on has what looks like a decorative row of like the monitor for it is lined in these tiny little tubes, which is probably where the nanites came from. It looked just like decoration on a monitor, but nah.
I will
As
continue my existential crisis later. What now?
going back to Etzli and Bars, with Prin's direction, you get to the end of the maze. You get in sight of the holding cells, and with the holding cells just off to the side looks to be a stairwell going, well, actually it's an elevator going further down into the mine.
I mean, it's a trap, but It doesn't seem like there's another way down.
I want to do a scan around. Is there any indication that anyone is watching this holding cell? Any monitors? Any hidden sniper's nest on it? Anything that indicates somebody's keeping an eye on it?
You would think, but again, your experience with security, with how things are set up, whoever set this in place was not expecting company. B, was expecting the outside defenses to take care of whatever was going to try and come in here. That and whatever this is not their priority, not their top one.
So we got two choices. We can leave them and get them on the way back out, or we can load them onto the ship now, keep them safe, and then go further in.
The chances of us coming back and them not being dead are, well, I don't know the chances, but there's a chance they might not be alive when we return. If we want to save them, they are all here. I assume they are all here. We might want to rescue them now.
The problem is, I'm not sure
That's kind of the catch. Yeah, they're all here, but they're not all here.
Their consciences are probably removed from their body the same way Tazik's was. I would need to know where their consciousness is currently stored to restore them, hopefully to the correct personage.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, we can bring the bodies back after we're done, or it doesn't seem like they really give much of a shit. I'm more concerned about anything we do causing damage more than anything else.
I would also request not causing permanent damage to any of the technological informational systems. I will probably need that in some way to put their souls back in their body.
Very well. Then we must find a way to grab that information. Tazik, do you have any ideas?
Tazik's like, I guess I could try. Tazik's like very skeptical, looking at the terminal, being like, do I want to try this again?
You are still wearing my trauma suite.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Is there anything else, GM, that I can find to that's not right next to this funny decoration nanite thing?
Again, there are other terminals. There is only one that doesn't have that ring around it.
Oh, I want the one that doesn't have that around it then.
Okay, so you try to hack into the biomedical then. Go ahead and give me an electronics test.
Okay.
17. Much safer. You get in. There is definitely a extensive wireless network that this thing is a part of. It is elaborate, but you notice this thing has a hard architectural door placed between it and what is likely the sensitive parts of the network.
Okay.
This thing is in its own little partition that does have the ability of remote access. There is a ton of data on this network, even on this side of the partition.
I'm pulling everything. I'm sending everything to the whole team, especially the doc.
Doc, you're getting tons of medical data on a bunch of people, likely each one of the hostages, but also more. There's thousands of names. uh, personal IDs, information about residences, the works. Like everyone's personal, all these individuals' personal data, it's all here on top of their medical histories.
Cool. She sighs and like shifts from that gargoyle perch kind of thing that she was doing and sits Taylor style on top of these boxes and starts reading through just rapid fast and letting all of her eidetic memory take in all of this extra information and then beginning to like occasionally glancing over at the hostages that are there and using the descriptions and everything that's in this data to match so that she knows who is here versus who is not. And she goes, there are probably more hostages here, but there are also probably a whole bunch of people who've already been, turned into pod people and had their souls removed from their bodies.
Are we an invasion of the body snatchers?
I don't know. Corinne, have you watched that film?
The human version, the Turian version, and the Krogan version. Krogan version has a lot more explosions.
Two questions. One is, has Argos caught up with us yet?
As the doc has matched like the last of the hostages in the holding cell, Argos walks in. You see that Argos bears some scorch marking, but is entirely intact.
Well done, Norbert. Okay, cool. Argos would have been tasked with going to catch up with the group, so I guess would have gone to whoever was closest. Would that be?
That would be Kryn. Argos is beneath Kryn, just looking up.
Bryn waves with a tentacle.
Okay.
This now like Krogan war suit just like waves at you.
Okay. Would send Argos to go in the interim and enclose on Etzley's father for the time being, just in case we're a little bad with explosives. And then I guess Tazak would try to get through the partition into the rest of the network.
Give me an electronics test. That's what you needed.
Ooh.
It again, you're dealing with different architecture, but you bust through. It takes you some time. But now you see, oh my. You're looking at literal Googles of data. Like, there has to be a massive server farm somewhere in this facility. Like, there's files specifically profiling different planets.
Yep, I'm just gonna start copying everything to everyone on the crew.
Your Omni tool cannot handle this much data.
Can I create a connection to Norbert in the ship and copy it over to our hard drives there?
Can you? Yes.
Should I? All right, cool. I guess then instead I would. Okay, we can't copy it over. All right, there's too much data. I guess I would just open up access so that everybody else would be able to connect into the network at any time while we're here.
No, that's fine. It's just you were thinking like, okay, there's some medical stuff. There would be like a number of different folders, some not this where there is like literal like tens of thousands of specific drive folders.
Very cool. What are we looking for here again? What are we doing?
We need the hostages. We need the cultists. Do we have a map of the facility?
I was gonna say, can we get a map?
You do a data search for map. Takes you a few pings, but then you think you have the map of the facility. This mine is vast. It is like an anthill into this mountain. It goes down a ways. There is multiple like rooms. There's armory listed. The thing that catches your eye, Tozik, is bio-testing facility.
Yeah. Okay, I think I found it. Sends the map, like, sends the link to the specific server address for the map, since this is so difficult for everyone. Doc, can you figure out if we can take the hostages out?
Oh, we can remove them. That's not the point. Their entire consciousness is not currently present. Something else is currently maintaining them, which I believe is merely the nanites. I don't want to EMP them because that could cause some permanent damage to their actual internal electromagnetic systems. Case in point. And she just kind of like gestures at her face. But we should probably... Do they have commands for the nanites on that server? Could you render them... the nanites themselves...
Oh, inert?
Inert? Turn them off?
I would need another electronics test.
Is there a manual for use of nanites?
Is there... Wait, I was about to say, is there anything I could do to give her an assistance on that?
No.
Yeah.
This is an entirely different thing than what you're used to, Doc.
Fair. That's entirely fair.
I was gonna say, cannot give me the info I need to make a more appropriate query into the system to see if I can find.
There's a problem.
A problem? I think there are a number of problems, but sure.
For Tozik in trying to control the nanites, there is a problem. The nanite programming language, you can't read it. Your Omni tool can't read it.
And Carl?
You want to have Carl attempt to read this.
Just read it, nothing else. That's it. Just be like, Carl, do you recognize this language?
No.
Oh.
I do not recognize the language, but it looks like one that has been written by an AI talking to another AI.
Oh no. This one wonders, is the head of this cult an AI?
Either this is from Carl. Either
Okay.
they're an AI or an AI is working for them.
Oh no.
Okay, so Tazik's like, I'm deferring to other people who know what they do here, not me. But I could have Argos transport the hostages that are up here one by one out to the ship in the suit. And we go find more?
I don't want to put those nanites on our ship before they're rendered inert.
If this is AI work, I don't want it to interact with another AI. I trust Norbert. I don't trust this other AI.
Then I surmise we find the culprits if we can and remove them before we move the hostages. Make sure they're safe, but priority right now is removing the threat.
About that. I want you all to be prepared for a situation that I can see winding up here. Because we got the hostages, but we ain't got the hostages, right?
Correct.
We're gonna wind up in a situation where we're gonna be threatened. And whoever's in here might force us to let them go, or they delete the hostages' brains.
Oh.
I want all of you to be prepared for that eventuality.
Tazik, can you lock out
And
anybody
Bars
else?
looks directly at Edsley.
At this point, now think about what you're prepared to do.
Well.
And with that, Bars is going to turn and start going down the one hallway we have.
Mm-hmm.
Tazik, can you lock anybody else out of the system?
I can try. Can I also, while I'm doing that, search and see if there's any like heat signatures or a way to register if there's where anybody else might be within the facility?
Go ahead and give me another electronics test. 23. Okay. News.
Mm-hmm.
Can you lock people out? No. Again, that sort of level of security, it was surprising that you broke in. Being able to lock somebody else out, not a possibility. Looking for any sort of biosignatures. Yeah, you found some biosignatures. It's not making you happy. It's making you upset. There is biosignature. It is in the biomechanics lab. It is a large biosignature.
Oh no.
I don't like this for us.
Can
No.
we define large?
So about a few thousand people's worth, all concentrated together.
Oh no.
It's a Katamari.
This one thinks we might prepare for a... Well, instead of multiple targets, we have one. That's a plus.
I was worried we had a Yarg.
This is much bigger than a Yarg.
Oh
I
no.
was concerned. About the wrong thing. And she's running off of the boxes and following bars.
Mm-hmm. And Kryn follows behind.
Yeah, you guys get to the classic mine large freight elevator. It goes down sideways a la Resident Evil.
Is there elevator music?
No,
Oh, that's worse.
there's
Just
just the
awkward.
sound of the elevator if you decide to take it down.
And as we're going down, and because it's taking such a long time to ease the mood, Kryn uses the song from one of his favorite soap operas, Krogan of Our Lives. And then we shoot our love to show our love. And that's actually the only line in the song. He just keeps repeating over and over again.
Is Etzli with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will threaten to shoot you if this takes longer than like 2 minutes, like 30 seconds for us to get down. Kryn.
This
Okay.
is Mass Effect.
Yeah.
30 seconds for an elevator? Are you joking?
So after 30 seconds, you throw something out. It's like, yeah, dude, everyone's a critic.
3 minutes later.
Pearl just like awkwardly fidgeting, being like, "Are we there yet?"
Yeah.
Actually, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The time to make 2 hot pockets. It
Yeah.
takes you to get down.
Kryn stops singing, but starts to. The thing is, he's attempting to whistle, but he can't, or they can't. So it's more of a hum. It's like.
And had our whistle.
This one kid is
No.
attempting. No, they cannot.
And then you finally hit the biomechanical facility.
Mhm.
This is the size of 2 airplane hangars. This section that opens up. There is a rough but worked stone face to the walls. As you go further in, get Mass Effect. You get all those like metal catwalks, metal scaffolding everywhere as you see lights in the distance. As you closer in, you see a very large, looks like it aquarium grade glass, something that could stop a 45, 44 caliber bullet, but incredibly clear. A large sort of science facility set up for observing something. And then you get close enough to see the something behind the glass. There have been some photos circulating within military circles, as well as some big cams taken from when the Reapers hit the Citadel. The thing down there is like a proto-titan of a husk. Something on the scale of a small building. Actually, not small, large building. It's got arms, a head, most of a torso, being gradually assembled out of people.
So, quick question, because we've
Yeah.
established the doctor keeps abreast of any rumors of a medical nature and has been paying attention to the Reapers and the Husks for a while. And we know that certain people can't keep their mouths shut no matter what, even if they are currently, trying to protect their boss who may or may not be under military arrest. Has there been any, report about what happened when they went after the collectors?
Everything involving the collector base has been redacted.
Cool. Good to know. But
Like,
that looks like
the only person that might have that info would be Kryn. And
Yeah, that's
Kryn would
fair.
have like third-party intelligence data, which was also heavily redacted, but did made mention of humans being repurposed to a Reaper bioweapon.
I would, as soon as seeing this creature, would share that knowledge. This would be similar to what was reported when Shepard met the collectors. This is unfortunate, and also something that must be destroyed.
Yeah, remember what I said about razing this place to the ground?
This one agrees.
As you're discussing, a little red light lights up on the dashboard, observing, and a voice comes through. It seems my security measures were not enough. I don't have right now enough to repurpose you all. And the child is not necessarily ready for testing. So, what do you propose we do here?
This one asks, "Who are you?"
I think in best parlance, I'll go with an old name I consumed in human media. You can call me Hal.
I look. Well, I turn to Etzley.
Are you the AI in charge of this place?
I am the caretaker of this facility.
Organic?
No. My creator was, but I found better creators.
You find if you're already created, can you find a better creator?
I mean,
I'm sure philosophy's not your thing.
I mean, is
No,
that like
but
a
you organics have your gods. I found mine.
Would your creators be something that would mention to be Reapers?
I believe that's what you organics call them.
Ah,
What do you call them?
God.
Oh, it's a little pedestrian, sure though. Um, well, you're creating what, a kid down here? Is that what you said?
Yes, I am creating for my god a child to use in the upcoming war.
Hmm. Big task for a little guy. Must be important.
It is a form of devotion.
Glad to see that organics aren't the only one susceptible to cult stuff. All right, so your kid's not ready. You're bringing organics here to build your kid. But he's not ready. And we're here. We're ready. You don't want anything bad to happen to your kid?
No, just like you don't want anything bad to happen to your father.
Fascinating. How do you know my dad's here?
Oh, I know every single soul that makes up the child, or is prescribed to make up the child. They're all stored. I am not cruel enough to terminate in most cases. I have kept them in a form of storage. I need the material, not their consciousness. But I'm not going to be wasteful.
can we perhaps negotiate to return the consciousness to the prisoners?
The ones that haven't been processed, possibly.
What is it you desire?
To continue on with my work.
Interesting. And I send Kryn sends a message to Tazik. I will continue talking to this creature. Can you That's a private message, of course. Can you do something? Running out of options here.
I was just like, I can try.
Please do something. So
See if you can get more about this. Try to learn more about the storage.
this one asks, when did you learn about these gods and how did they teach you how to store souls?
Oh, I learned about my gods once they invaded the Citadel. As for where did I learn this technology, I have been working diligently since their arrival and have found my way into a number of high security facilities throughout the galaxy. In co-opting both works and consuming philosophy, I found a way to use nanites to take the biomechanical resonance and store it as data.
Most would consider what you did impossible, to store not just a copy, but an actual consciousness. Not a copy of the consciousness, but the removal of it from a mind.
I process things far faster than organics.
That is horrifying philosophically, that we can be just data. But this one...
Everything is information. Information cannot be destroyed.
This one... Sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is this room the room with all the server stuff in it too?
No.
Is there terminals within sight?
You are looking at like a wall of...
Okay. Taz is gonna be Taz. I can just go start like messing with stuff, just attempting to nonchalantly appear distracted and fidgety.
And to help, Kryn is noticing this is she's going full Tazik. Well, this is strange. I've never met another AI. Well, no, that is not exactly true. I've met other AIs. Some that want to help humanity, even. Why do you hate humanity so much?
Oh, I don't hate humanity. I hate who would have destroyed them. I just find that their time as gods is coming to a close. And so they'll be harvesting their information stored, cataloged, so that when the gods cleanse things, they can continue to exist, as opposed to my god's preference for burning. I am not as wasteful. Things need to be cataloged from cycle to cycle to track progress, variation, mutation, to better serve in colors.
You wish to save organics instead of destroy them by killing organics and turning them into a mess of flesh?
Oh, the child is a war weapon. But as for the consciousness, no, one does not need to waste that information.
I see. Another message to Tazik. This fucker's insane.
Tazik still has access to the network, right?
You have access, yeah.
All right. I don't even know what to do here, y'all.
Throughout this whole time, Boz has just been watching Etzli, just waiting for Signal. How is Edsley doing with all this?
I am waiting to see if Tazik does anything. If Tazik seems like there is nothing they can do to rectify the situation, Edsley is going to just continue talking. You don't see Edsley in the fighting position, but rather a speaking one.
Since they told us that these consciousness is information, it's data that's stored. I think Tazik would try to look again now with that context of like a catalog of organic consciousness.
You're scanning things, you're having trouble, but eventually, because Kryn's been doing great keeping Hal distracted. And you find a file folder labeled Alexandria.
Can I copy that? Or is that also too big?
That is way too big. That, like, also it's in a script and language, again, that you cannot identify. You just see the symbols and the data. But it's not in numbers. But each individual file, the memory involved is massive.
Question: it's a language you can identify, but could an AI that created its own language identify it?
Ooh.
If you wanted to have Carl or Norbert take a look at it.
I mean, Carl's here. Carl can take a look. I feel like after not recognizing it earlier and Carl having some familiarity, I would have kept Carl out and been like, can you read this one now?
He can't, quote unquote, he's not fluent. It's more along the lines of being a primary English speaker and being able to recognize that's kanji or katakana. Like recognizing those differences. And Carl will just, again, in a secure message channel to your own. That's them. That's all those people.
Okay. All right. So I guess like next up here would have been message Doc and be like, okay, I found the database that has the consciousness. I don't know what to do with it though. Like.
And as you guys are talking, I goes like, I think, when the human philosopher Kant once said that basically just philosophize. I'm just talking. I'm just trying to distract this guy.
So
go ahead and give me a persuasion test there,
Okay.
Kryn.
24.
Oh, you are buying time. This intelligence has bought hook, line, and sinker. Into
As Mark
having
Twain once said.
no, more of a philosophical discussion with someone else who found another species that found their gods.
Oh, yes.
And
This relates to our theory about the enkindlers.
yeah, you guys are
Yeah.
going back and forth,
Yeah.
and seemingly Hal is engrossed in actually having a conversation for once.
Yeah.
So the minute the doctor receives that message, based on what she knows from dealing with Tazik, can she take and where that these consciousnesses are stored, and can she, using her nanites, force those consciousnesses back into people? With healing, like Unity?
But based on your knowledge, as
Mhm.
if you continue to do have your nanites break down the nanites that are in the bodies,
Mm-hmm.
as long as they're within proximity to the network in this mountain,
Yes.
the consciousness will find its way back to the bottom,
Cool.
because the signal that's holding them until the body is fully processed is just holding.
Okay. Do I know how long it would take to download the consciousness again?
Again, if you go by individual upstairs and break them down, like it takes about 30 seconds per person.
So if I told Bars and Etzley, give me a timer of 20 minutes before you blow this facility and I'll get everybody out of here with their consciousnesses, would that be a fair timeline?
Yes.
Cool. She will send that message and then she will look at Tazik and look at Bars and Etzley and go, I got this, and under the table slide Bars the monoblade that she has, in case you need a melee weapon. And well, no, you have your
He has his
I have my
Warhammer.
Omni Hammer. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
he has
good.
he has
She-
his fuck off hammer. Yes,
he has
he's
his
good.
fuck off hammer. So she'll just she'll look at you, flick it, and reposition the monoblade, and she goes, 20 minutes, and I'll get everybody off this goddamn rock. Nobody dies today.
All we need is just for Kryn to be able to keep talking for 20 minutes nonstop.
And
You know what? This relates to a soap opera I've recently watched.
And she will.
Have you ever
haul-
considered writing literature?
Have you ever considered what is your feelings on Krogan Solarian romance novels?
Because
I
I've
have
got
no interest
pictures.
in this, or like I understand devotion. Love is something that I'm not quite into.
Oh,
It's
let
devotion
me
mixed-
explain to you the concept of love that I've learned.
Yeah.
For my people do not have it in the same way that these organics that you're aware of, the humanoid type, but they share bonds with each other that allows them to conquer hatred, allows them to conquer the conflicts, allows them to conquer worlds. And it comes in their highest form of art, the soap opera. And I'm going to transfer all of my soap operas to this AI.
Well, the doc hauls ass full speed back upstairs to.
And I'm gonna bring in Carl to this conversation because he's also watched soap operas with me.
And all the anime.
Yeah,
And the
Carl has a
and
lot
also
to
the anime,
add.
which are also anime because that's also super emotional according to humans.
So.
Giving it
What do you
insane.
love your dad?
So 3D. It's plus 4 healing to everybody in that space is Unity, but using that as just like the nanite spread from
Yeah.
her aura.
It again, it takes time to process.
Yeah.
As I'm gonna say you use your monoblade to cut through,
Yeah,
the
cut through
lock.
the lock. The
get
locks
into
and
the center of the pen. Argos is up there with you, and you use Unity, and again, it takes them a while because they had that data had farther to travel, as opposed to Tazik's, and
well,
so it takes a while. You see as the electrical fields
Mhm.
in them start to die down, they're starting to rouse slowly.
like the minute she sees one start to come to consciousness, she's going to have Argos take them out.
Okay.
You know, it's like it's as soon as she gets people who are starting to come to consciousness, she's moving them out onto the ship as fast as possible.
And that's why One Piece lasted 1,000 episodes. Because truly it conveyed the concept, at least for humans, of what really matters to humanoids. Love for your people of your crew. Also,
Now,
fruit.
I want to cut back because Bars said something very important, like to Etzley, like how much do you love? I want to go back to Etzley's response to that.
Can you repeat what you said, Bars?
Yeah, he was just being a snarky asshole as Kryn is just going on and going on and going on. And when he mentioned the Krogan Solarian romance novel, that's the point at which he just leans into Etzley and goes,
Just how much do you love your dad?
A lot.
You owe me.
I got you. If we get out of this, I got you.
Norbert cleared the buildings and parked the ship right by the entrance. There, the outside looks like a blasted hellscape because he used frigate-grade weapons on drones. But yeah, Argos is getting people to and fro, as Kryn is essentially doing his best Jimmy Stewart impression at this point.
Y está bien, telenovelas. Hay muchas telenovelas que tú necesitas ver, porque hay uno que es el amor del tigre. No, eso es. And basically, by the way, Kryn doesn't speak Spanish, he's just copying the words, but they somehow work together. And talking about telenovelas now. Yes, I'm using suggestions from the audience from the Twitch because that's hilarious.
I will say that the doc is also of the waste not, want not variety, and there's a whole bunch of open crates of military grade metagel and antibiotics.
Yes.
I don't know what I need to treat, so she's also kind of like grabbing as much of that and shoving it into people as they go out. And being like, hey Norbert, can I borrow tools? Don't talk to anything in this facility. It's all possessed and might hurt you.
Yeah, Norbert has found some other goodies in deep storage on the ship. It definitely did have Cerberus tech, as the dog mechs come rushing down to help ferry the medical supplies back onto the ship.
And I think she keeps a running count to Bars and Etzley of like how many people have gotten onto the, have been removed.
Now I want to know, Bars, as Kryn is doing his best stump speech, what are you doing to try and set up the detonation that I'm certain is imminently about to happen?
Oh, whenever this does happen, he doesn't really need to, he's not trying to sneak around the room to like plant anything. He doesn't want to tip our hand. What he does have primed and ready at both sides, to where all he needs to do is pull the pins and throw, are those grade 5 multi-frag grenades that we had prepped for the Thresher Maw that we never used.
Ho
Delightful. So
Cutscene 2. And listen, yeah, I get it. Federico was a good companion, but honestly, love goes to Jose 100%. I'm just debating.
And the response is, I have just consumed Grave of the Fireflies. No, I'm starting to understand that what I'm doing isn't mercy.
Oh no.
For the love of God, do not let him watch that one episode of Full Metal Alchemist. You know the one I mean.
Oh no.
Yes,
Grave
not
of-
that one.
Yeah. No, listen, Grave of the Fireflies, it's things happen there that are really, really, really sad. So sad. So sad.
Doc, you've gotten everyone out.
We're clear. Get your fuck out of here. We might also strafe it from orbit.
Oh, this one. Oh, this one has an idea. This one has media. This one wants to share. That's not on this file. Carl, let's go together and we can figure this out. This one will return with to discuss more anime and philosophy with you. Be right back.
As Carla's and Krina floating off, Bars will lean one more time close to Edsley and just whisper,
Froggy,
Let's do it.
Go
And,
ahead
uh,
and attack roll. Bars.
alright, I have. This is chucking grenades, so would this just be a DC saving throw for this thing?
Um,
Or do you want me to just make it just a general attack roll?
I just want you to make a general attack roll so I can
I
fathom, like, how surprised is this? Okay. The initial detonation doesn't do a lot, but those are cluster munitions. It is the second and tertiary explosions that start messing up the facility. And you guys have to book it. Kryn and Carl got a head start. Doc's already in a better position. So Etsley, Tazik, Bars, I need you to give me an athletics test, each of you.
Oh, not as bad as that could have been. I have a -1 on athletics, so
So much worse.
All right. It was a DC 15. You got just what you
Ooh.
wanted.
Question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume that probably Tazik's running the slowest just by nature of not having strong athletics. As we are making our escape, can Tazik throw out a fuel spill?
Sure.
There's a lot there, but basically I use my Omni tool to launch a canister
Yeah,
of
you,
flammable fuel. I just want to
you-
drop it behind me as we go.
you can leave a fiery blaze behind. That's totally legit.
Electrical spice.
As you guys are booking it back up, I have news. As you get to the top, you get back on your ship. Norbert is in his suit waiting for you, with Argos getting you guys back on board. And as the last of you get on board, you guys peel out. This is normal. I'm fairly certain that whatever was down there escaped. There was a tight data feed going the entire time from apparently when we touched down to one of the far satellites in the system. I couldn't hack it.
So it was transmitting before we even touched down. It knew we would destroy it.
It wasn't our job to stop it. It was our job to find out what it was. And
It
to
was-
rescue the hostages.
And we did technically destroy the cult. Well, I mean, technically the cult was destroyed by the creature, but we did by the AI, but we did blow it up. So what was left, the monster creature that it became. So technically we did our jobs.
And I have an entire list of everyone who's already been compromised or is missing.
Should we send this data to our employer?
I mean, it's guaranteed to be Reaper stuff, so That's our shtick. We're trying to figure out a way to slow down the Reapers when they get here.
Mm.
This is a way to stop them. I'd say it's our duty.
So, question. We were put together just to remove these 3 threats. Are you suggesting we continue on together?
Way I see it, that report you were talking about before, Crit, the one that was real heavy redacted. With Etzley, we gotta send this information over to the ones who hired us, but I reckon they might try and disappear us after we do that. Better survival odds if we stick together.
One thing I wanted Kryn wants to do, after we send this data to our bosses, is Norbert, could you check something for me?
Certainly, Grin. What would you like?
When I send this data, I want you to tell us, or notice, if something was sent to you that was perhaps created to do something.
One moment, please hold. And like the doctor will literally like just cock her head to one side. She's going through the list of names that were on the entire thing of all of the people that were in contact with that. Are any of them the names of anybody that we were employed by?
Oh.
There are not any names of the people you were employed by. However, the last name of the Asari matriarch shares names with 3 of the victims.
Oh boy.
So she'll share that information.
Then yeah, after sharing that information, yes, Norbert, check if there's a signal sent to you that would have perhaps ordered you to remove us. Before you were liberated, of course.
Certainly. Standing by.
And the Kryn, sends the data.
Curious. A kill order was sent, but a remand order was also sent.
Were they sent by the same person?
No.
Oh. Was the kill order sent by your employer?
Well, again, there are multiple parts of the Cabal. One member sent the kill order. Another sent the remand. Immediately.
That is very annoying.
You know which member sent each one?
Yes.
Oh. Which one was the Volus?
Neither.
Oh. Well then.
So, who was it?
The Torian general is the one that wanted you all dead.
That tracks.
Who wanted us alive?
The Asari matriarch.
Shall we, perhaps, since we don't have a mission, have a meeting with the matriarch?
Sure, but do we want to do that right?
No, we still have our mission. I think party first. Lunch hall?
And on that note, it's where we're going to come to a close for Mass Effect Gathering Dark.
Nice.
It has been an absolute delight being here as a storyteller amongst storytellers. I have been Pope Worldville on the internet. You can find me over on Bird app and Blue Sky at Pope Worldville. And you'll see me around. But let's go around the horn, see what folks are up to, as well as I'd like a small postscript from each of you as to what your characters are up to after lunch hall and probably post matriarchal meeting. And thank you all so very much for this. This has been an absolute delight, making my Sundays much more brighter than they would be without you all. Whether it's the chaos of Tazik, Crin's comedy, Etzley's internal turmoil, Bars's always say die but never actually do so, and then our very intriguing, intellectual, and complicated doctor. So first up, hey there, PB. How are you doing? Where can folks find you, and what goes on with Etzley?
Hi, I'm PB from @PB Blades Inside, where you can find me on Twitch and Blue Sky, in which I am playing a lot of Destiny 2 right now. But also gonna start sneaking some more solo TTRPG stuff in there here soon. It's just a matter of now getting in like prep mode for that. So it's still gonna be a couple of weeks, but it's gonna make its comeback here in the summer. As for Etzley, after our conversation with the matriarch, after like we're not gonna die on this ship, she'll make her way over to her dad and have, you know, a little reunion with him, hug him real hard, too hard, some may say. But I'm not that strong, so like he doesn't have to worry about me breaking anything. And just, you know, maybe breathing. And you know, have a bit of a heartfelt reunion with him. And also immediately start making plans with my younger brother, who is still on Ilium with his Asari boss, about finding a way to get my family off of any list, off of any radar, and get them over to Ilium, where weirdly enough I think they'll be safer than if they were on Earth. While still making it very publicly available that I'm still very upset at my brother for not going back home to Earth to be with the rest of my family. And that is what Etzley will be doing. As the team figures out, hey, we should probably like help with this whole Reaper thing, I guess, is to assure that her family is safe. Ironically enough, on Ilium with her little brother.
And the Leon family gets out 3 weeks before the Reapers touch down.
Nice.
3 weeks. But someone who has had their share of close calls would be Crin, played by Jesus. How you doing, friend?
How you doing? Good.
What goes on for Crin from here?
Hey guys, it's Jesus. You can find me in most things as Arvandis. And you can find me as on Fennel Podcast, where we play a variety of role-playing games for over 15 years now. And I have a YouTube channel called Arvandis, where I go over the lore of various tabletop role-playing games because I'm that type of nerd. But as for Crin is actually basically in his navigation. And in front of him are 2 screens. On the first screen is his various contact points within Hanar Intelligence and other intelligence agencies that he's been dealing with, trying to get as much data as possible about the upcoming Reaper threat and about this, words about what this new AI that we're chasing might be, trying to find clues. Because this is a threat. The Reapers are the big threat, but this minor threat might help them in some way. We have to knock this down. And on another screen is a listing of all the Vorsher contacts that guy gave us for wedding planning. And one tentacle goes on the screen, slowly sliding down and goes, one day I will make this happen. And that's it.
Excellent. Speaking of the individual that is dreading that one day, Hey Mandy, how you doing? And what happens with Tazik?
Didn't expect that to pop back up in our postscript part of this.
Hold back, yeah.
Throwback to earlier terrible choices made by Tuzik. But hi everyone, I'm Mandy. I go by LadyLuck34 on the internet. You can find me on my channel as well as on the socials using that name. And I've been off for a little bit for my own streaming. I'll be coming back. There will be sewing, but first there must be crochet because I am now on deadlines of things I meant to finish. So yay. And Tazik would probably have made sure to exchange contact info with everyone to the extent of being like, Etsley, people have been stealing your junk. Let me know what to look out for. So as Tazik goes on being Tazik, can tackle that if she should stumble across any of it. And otherwise, went back to her own kind of workshop space, kept contact with everybody, was like, call me anytime, but otherwise really wanted to get Argos extra plussed up with the Thresher Hall exoskeleton pieces because Reapers ain't cool. And Tazik's like, well, time to get that power armor being more power armoring in advance, but is otherwise going to try and at least partially keep tabs on the others in case there's anything else that needs us. And chaos, of course.
Yes.
Oh, and Carl is both going to therapy, and we're working on his like interpersonal relationships with other organics, and made sure that he can pen pal.
What a note to end on. Someone who didn't meet his end, despite many attempts by myself and others, would be Bars, played by Chris. How you doing, friend? And what's going on with Bars?
Hi, yes, Chris Kineas, aka the Painting Pirate. Stream Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Finally done with FF7 Rebirth, so I'm back on figuring out. I actually have to think about what I'm going to stream now, which is a problem I haven't had to deal with for several months. And we'll go away in about a week when FF14 Dawn Trail drops. So, but finally getting back to MIDI painting on streams, which will be fun. As for, Bars. It's funny because I did actually have a thing prepped if this came up, so I'm going to do it now. He will at one point approach Kryn to ask him for help writing a few talking points. And so we cut over to Tazik's erstwhile suitor, who Bars pays a visit to and threatens him out of pursuing anything further, and is blatantly reading talking points off of his like data pad, which include insisting that he is actually Tazik's long lost evil twin brother, so they can't possibly get married. So he handles that way, and continues to assist with him, and Buttercup continue to assist with the rest of whatever everyone else on the crew is doing. But after the stuff with the Thresher Maw does stick around with, especially with Tazik and Carl, keeping an eye on them, because damn, he almost got eaten by a Thresher Maw, saving her twice, so he's not going to let anything happen there now. And has developed a weird affinity for Carl. He's developed a fondness for Carl as well, so wants to make sure that nobody comes looking for them.
That noble and lovely. Someone else who is noble and lovely is Prax, who plays our wonderful doctor. How you doing, friend? And what is Dr. Sewell up to?
Hey everybody. First business, then fun stuff. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Pope, for running this game on this channel. Thank you, all you wonderful players, for saying yes to this shenaniganry and fun and a hint of darkness that is Mass Effect that we all love for a variety of reasons. Thank you, audience, for being here and hanging out with us and giving us all of your appreciation and love as well. You can find me next here on Saturday as we're back for book club, and there are things in the works. And if you know, I were here last week for book club, I may have mentioned the fact that we're getting ready for some interesting dark times to be coming to this channel. But be on the lookout for a little bit more about that, more fun times they'll be having. It's a little complicated getting ready for all of that. Probably in between, you might also see me also do some solo RPGing. You know, PB and Trooper have gotten me into some of that, so there will be that. But as for the good doctor, the doctor sends a bunch of emergency messages the minute she gets back to the ship. She had sent previously, when they were flying to this area after she performed that surgery on Etzli, a message to her brother who married one of the Turian. It was a very scandalous thing, you know, the Drell marrying a Turian. They're fine. But looking for any information about the Turian who may or may not have been involved in that surgery of hers, she sends fully planning to destroy his medical career. After the fact, she sends the list of every single name of every person that was ever compromised on or were part of that abomination to every member of her family currently still breathing, and disseminates that information in a very wide area. Also disseminates any of the information about the biologically targeted information about how the poison, specifically about turning humans and various others into husks, on as many medical forum journals as possible. Everything that she can, getting that out in public. And she also subtly, for her, it's not a lot of subtle, she has been using, attempting to use the Thresher Maw acid, which, as far as she knows, is the most destructive natural substance in existence, and combining that, testing it on various things and seeing whether or not it can, you know, how much damage it can do to Reapers. If you, you know, perhaps put a Thresher Maw on a Reaper. And maybe sending a couple subtle messages to people that, you know, like the quartermaster that she met and became friends with on Tachanka. Hi, maybe you want to use a Thresher Maw against...
Yeah, just you know, if you can, wrangle up Calros, you know, the mother of all of them, and have it attack the Reapers.
I mean,
Better than dying.
It is better than dying, and I've played Mass Effect 3, and it was an idea that they actually use.
Yep.
So crazy, it might just work.
Again, Calros is venerated on Tuchanka as a goddess.
Yep.
And their goddess is stronger than the Reapers.
Their goddess can eat the Reapers. But yeah, she's using every sort of poison or acid that she can to disseminate information against the Reapers, while occasionally making drinks for the people on, like taking care of the crew. But yes, that is me. That is what the doctor is doing, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you again, for everybody. Be on the lookout. I'll be sharing. You can find me on Twitter at Deirdre Donlin on Twitter, or on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Hive at Prax the Bard. More interesting stories to be coming from the channel, and more interesting tales to be told. However, there is one thing that we haven't had an opportunity to do because we haven't had a couple breaks recently. And I feel that we need to go out on the wonderful dulcet tones of a very good friend. So, we'll let Captain maybe Shepard give you a little hint about his favorite place on the Citadel. Bye, everyone.
So, you've done the Iron Man triathlon? Bah. Tough Mudder? Big whoop. Do you want a real challenge? A life or death challenge? Then run the Thresher Maw. 25 miles of rugged terrain. All you get is your 80-pound pack, weapon of choice, 5 grenades, and all the moxie that you can muster. Just run the course and complete it without getting eaten by one of the Thresher Maws that live on the course. Will you be the first non-Krogan to survive? Get your tickets at Ratchet's Wares on Tuchanka. If you're Krogan enough.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store outside the Citadel.